What's going on, Bears fans? We got a jam-packed show with the latest Bears rumors coming up in just a few moments. But first, if you've already subscribed on YouTube, that's great. If you haven't, please do so. But also, another way to support us is to follow us on Rumble for more exclusive content. We're publishing a lot of the same videos over on Rumble, rumble.com/Bears now. But a cool feature of their app, if you're on your phone, you can actually have the app on in the background and listen podcast style. So you can, play the video, put it on the background, be on Twitter, other apps, whatever, internet browser, and still be listening to this very video at this second. Rumble.com/Bears now. Go check us out on Rumble for more Bears videos. Welcome in to Chicago Bears Now. Harrison Graham here, back with another video, the latest rumors and news. Appreciate everybody for clicking on the show, and I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. Could the Bears sign a former Matt Eberflus guy? At least sort of. TY Hilton, the former and longtime Colts wide receiver who remains as a free agent. Bleacher Report did an article with 7 or 8 top free agent receivers remaining and had the Bears as the best fit for Hilton, pointed to his speed and the connection to Matt Eberflus. Now, injuries and declined play as he's gotten older have certainly slowed down what was once a, fantastic career. He's not, washed completely, but he's not what he was, and I think that's outlined right here as you look at his first 5 seasons compared to his last 5. Now, 3 seasons ago, he had a 1,200-yard year, but only that's been the only 1,000-yard season in the last 5 years. You compare his first 5 where he had 5,800-plus yards, 30 touchdowns, and a long of 87, and an average of 15.7. Last 5 seasons, he's missed some time with injuries. Still decent numbers, pretty good actually. 30 yards, 23 touchdowns, average of 15, so he can still stretch the field. Last year, only played in 9 or 10 games, had less than 400 yards. He certainly wasn't what he once was, but I think he's better than what he was last year. That Colts passing offense kind of became a mess with Carson Wentz. Michael Pittman was really the only guy who stood out there. Hilton was banged up again. They ran the football a lot. I think you could get 500 to 800 yards potentially out of T.Y. Hilton. If nothing else, he can be a guy that can stretch the field from time to time. And, with Darnell Mooney, Byron, Pringle, I think T.Y. Hilton is still a better weapon than Equanimeous St. Brown. You could plug him in there as your other outside guy. Pringle plays the slot. And then while still drafting someone, I don't think T.Y. Hilton signing him, prevents you from drafting a receiver in the 2nd or 3rd round. I don't think that at all. But I think he's still got good speed. He's got some big play upside. There were some rumors that he could retire this offseason, and maybe that'll still happen. He is unsigned. He is a free agent, so it's not like he is, obligated or, guaranteed to play this year. A, he has to find a team that'll sign him. B, he has to want to play. And it's possible that he says, you know what, I've had a great career, but, I'm going to hang it up. But if he doesn't, cheap 1-year deal, $2 million, T.Y. Hilton, maybe extra $1 or $2 million in incentives, I'd take a chance on him. What about you? Should the Bears take a chance on T.Y. Hilton? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I know this team doesn't have enough receivers. This will be the pinned comment on today's show, so go ahead and reply right there. Let's go to our next story here, offensive line rumor. Gabriel, former longtime front office guy in the NFL and with the Bears, actually. Free agent right guard Trai Turner is a 5-time Pro Bowler. Last year, the 28-year-old played for the Bears O-line coach Chris Morgan. He was the assistant O-line coach in Pittsburgh, and made $3 million. Wonder if the Bears have any interest. Might be the best offensive guard option left in free agency. So we'll talk about Trai Turner a little bit here. Obviously, you guys probably saw my video on Friday when we talked about Quinton Spain. I think these are the top 2 guards left on the open market, and the Bears still need a starting guard after missing out on Ryan Bates. Turner's one of the better guys out there. Obviously, you could fill this need in the draft, and even if you sign a Turner, I think drafting a guard in round 2 or 3 is certainly on the table, if not another offensive lineman. But let's be honest, you don't have a starting caliber guard outside of Cody Whitehair right now. I don't want to start Dakota Dozier at guard. He was terrible last year. He started some games in his career, but he's a decent backup. He's not a starter, whereas Trai Turner is, he's an above-average starting guard. You need 1 to 2 more starting offensive linemen. Unless Larry Borum and Tevin Jenkins are going to be your starting tackles, which, okay, if they are, great, and hopefully they play well, but I tend to think that, Borum might be your swing tackle, so you need to get a tackle, you need to get a guard. If you do those two things, that certainly would help. Maybe signing Turner, drafting a tackle can make sense. You just want to give yourself some flexibility on draft night where you don't feel like you have to draft a specific position. PFF graded Turner pretty fairly last year, or pretty well. 69.4, that's a tick above average per PFF. If you're in the mid-60s, you're kind of league average. 72.7 as a pass blocker, above average. 76.6, kind of in that average area as a run blocker. Did give up 7 sacks, so he got beat up a little bit in that regard. But at the same time, the Steelers' O-line struggled at times. Their tackles didn't play very well, so it's possible that those weren't all completely on Turner. A 70-ish PFF grade, that's above average. That's nothing spectacular, but, Trai Turner at $3.4 million, James Daniels at $9 million. I'll take Turner for a third of the cost, if I'm being completely honest. You get Trai Turner or Quentin Spain on a 1-year deal, I think it makes a lot of sense for this team. It gives you insurance. It gives you flexibility. Now, if you go draft a stud guard that beats this guy out, great. You've got a quality backup. Or you post-June 1 cut Cody Whitehair. You can do that. And I think that could be on the table in that scenario that I just mentioned. So I like the idea of bringing one of these two guys in here. And Greg Gabriel, an evaluator of talent, does as well. Should the Bears sign or draft a starting offensive guard? Type S for sign in free agency. Type D for draft one. Type B for both, which is the scenario I was talking about. You could certainly do both, and quite frankly, I would like to do both. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. We mentioned to follow us on Rumble, but I know a lot of you guys still haven't subscribed to us on YouTube. I check the analytics on almost a daily basis. Like 55% of you guys subscribe, but a lot more of you guys watch on a daily basis. It's free. No charge, but it's an easy way to support the show. So if you like what we do, if you're a fan of our channel, please subscribe. It helps us grow. It allows us to do more videos. I would greatly appreciate it. The link's right there, youtube.com/BearsNow, or simply hit that red subscribe button. All right, final story here on Bears Now. Final-ish story. We'll have a quick note at the end. Allen Robinson looks like he could be recruiting Akiem Hicks to Los Angeles. Tweeted at Akiem, that's his handle, at the Dream. _Dream99, eye emoji with, the palm trees. Obviously, A-Rob enjoying life out in California. A-Rob recruiting Akiem Hicks? Kind of looks that way, right? And, hey, Akiem Hicks probably isn't going to cost that much. I've actually been surprised at how quiet things have been around Akiem Hicks. There's been some loose rumors that Minnesota might be interested in going out and signing Akiem Hicks to keep him in the NFC North. He's still a good player when he's healthy. The problem is he hasn't been that healthy. He missed, 8 more games last year, but in the games he played, still had 3.5 sacks, 9 quarterback hits, 5 tackles for loss. Like, Akiem Hicks, as, I wouldn't say a full-time starter, but as a heavy rotation guy, still a good player. The problem is he's missed 18 games in the past 3 years, and that includes playing 15 of 16 in 2020. Missed 11 games in 2019, and then missed 8 games last year, or 7 games last year, 8 games, somewhere in there. 18, 19 games missed the past couple of years. That's a lot. That's a lot. And a lot more games that he's left early due to those injuries. So we'll see what happens to Akiem Hicks. I do not think the Bears will bring him back. I don't think he's really a scheme fit. And he's getting older. It makes sense for him to go to a contender. Maybe L.A. with Allen Robinson is a potential destination to chase a Super Bowl. Who you missing more? Type R for Allen Robinson, type H for Akiem Hicks. Hicks kind of was the heart and soul of this team, but Allen Robinson, before this year, was this team's best offensive player. So who you missing more these days? Type R for A-Rob or type H for Akiem Hicks. All right, before we sign off, I did want to mention contract details emerged on Friday for Tavon Young. So if you missed it, here they are. 1 year, $1.365 million deal with the Bears. That includes $650,000 guaranteed, $150,000 signing bonus, $965,000 base salary with just about half of that guaranteed, and then almost $12,000 per game's active in bonuses, and then up to $400,000 in playtime playoffs incentives. So, basically 1 year, $1.5 million basically is what you're talking about here. This is a great deal. Guys, when he's healthy, Tavon Young is a starting nickel and a pretty damn good one. I get he's had a lot of injuries, but to pay him basically nothing and you have to pay just a little more if he stays healthy, guys, this was a steal. Tavon Young played all 17 games last year, and he played well for the Ravens, one of the better defenses and secondaries in the National Football League. They only cut him for salary cap purposes, not because of his play. So I fully expect him to start for the Bears, and for this contract, this is a good deal for Chicago. I'm pretty fired up to see this. I thought it might be $2-3 million, less than $2 million. That's pretty damn good for Ryan Poles. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. We're closing in on 3,000 followers. Once we get there, we'll cook up another Instagram Live where we can interact with all of you. It's at HGramNFL. Go ahead and give us a follow, and we'll interact over there.